Viewers, welcome to C2C News. Today we are on the second episode of Straightforward. The first episode we had Rene from the US. She was founder of Voice for India, and she's very straightforward. And this is the promise that we had in mind, and we'll stick to the promise. All the guests that we have on the show love to be straightforward, and one such gentleman we have today with us on the show is Savio Rodrigues. Savio, welcome to the show.
Namaste, Robert. Trust all is well.
नमस्कार. Yes. तो सभी श्रोता को हम बता दें, सेवियर रॉड्रिग्स फाउंडर एंड एडिटर इन चीफ गोवा क्रॉनिकल एक न्यूज पोर्टल है उसके अलावा उनका एक और प्लेटफॉर्म है इनक्यूबीज विच इज मेंट फॉर स्टार्टअप्स. तो डेफिनेटली आपको टाइम निकाल कर उधर पे जाना चाहिए. काफी इंटरेस्टिंग और इम्पोर्टेंट काम की प्लेटफॉर्म है इनक्यूबीज. Savio is also regular on leading English news channels on prime time. He has a lot of knowledge and experience on politics and related matters. So that is the reason we have requested him to be on our show of Straightforward.
It's my pleasure.
So Savio, one quick input from your end. Straightforward show के बारे में आप आए हैं तो आप जहन में आपके दिमाग में what is the thought you have with the tagline and the name of the show Straightforward?
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड टर्म जो है, बहुत सारी चीजें होती है जिसमें लोग अपना विचार देना चाहते हैं और घूम के बात करता है. कोई टॉपिक पे आता नहीं, कोई पॉइंट पे आता नहीं. आई थिंक स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड इज एन इम्पोर्टेंट वे टू गेट पीपल टू टॉक स्ट्रेट टू द पॉइंट. Be straightforward about issues, no beating around the bush. If you have the evidence, concrete evidence and inferences to make, then make it straight on issues rather than going around the bush. That's what I think straightforward is all about. So I'm glad to be here, Robert. I'm not known to be somebody who beats around the bush, so I normally talk straight as far as issues are concerned.
Precisely. This is the reason and this is the thought that we have in mind because viewers जो भी है जो लोग शो देखते हैं जहाँ पे स्पेशलिस्ट आते हैं, एक्सपर्ट्स आते हैं, काफी सारे लोग घुमा फिरा के बात करते हैं और मेन एजेंडा पे नहीं आते जो क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है. So we'll without wasting time on any other thing, we'll stick to our motto cut to cut, which is C2C. The first topic is obviously the burning issue SSR, Sushant Singh Rajput. Throughout the round the clock, throughout the day, कुछ ना कुछ ब्रेकिंग न्यूज होता है और अभी पिक्चर सामने आ गया है पूरे देश के क्या होने वाला है. इट इज मैटर ऑफ टाइम बिकॉज कुछ ना कुछ टेक्निकल बैरियर्स रहते हैं, कुछ प्रोसेसेस रहते हैं जो लॉ एनफोर्समेंट एजेंसीज को फॉलो करने पड़ते हैं. तो ये जो उनके प्रोसेसेस हैं या बैरियर्स हैं उसको दिमाग में रखते हुए आपके हिसाब से अब हम कितना दूर या कितना नजदीक में है कुछ सीरियस अरेस्ट और चार्जशीट फाइल होने से?
Robert, to be very honest, I think the failure of the Mumbai police has been very evident in the investigations. And my understanding of it or my interest in it came about when I realized that the Mumbai police had not seen the body of Sushant Singh hanging. In fact, they relied on inferences and information of the body lying on the bed to arrive at a conclusion that it was a suicide. And that was very questionable in terms of the simple basic elementary points of investigation. And that was the reason that piqued my interest and said, why would they do that? Because the Mumbai police is considered to be probably one of the best police forces in India and could compete with some of them globally. But in this particular case, right from the onset itself, if they had not witnessed the hanging, how did they arrive at the conclusion that it was going to be suicide? And that is where my interest got piqued and I started to look into the matter. Now, I'm of the opinion, very clear and very crystal, that something untoward has happened to Sushant Singh. You can term it as a murder, but we will have to wait for the investigative authorities to arrive at that conclusion. But to me, why would an entire machinery of the Maharashtra government, the Mumbai police, certain sections of the media, the entire Bollywood fraternity, take a very, very sly and deviant stand as far as Sushant's death case is concerned? When so many big players act in a manner that is so strange to otherwise how they would act on other circumstances. Bollywood comes out in great support for small issues like the Me Too campaign. It was very powerful around that time. So why would they easily believe that Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide? Why would they do that? I mean, some of them, yes, were shocked about it, but why did they accept it? This was from your own fraternity, somebody who worked with you, somebody who laughed with you. So why did you accept it? And then to have the entire charade around the suicide, the theory, the bipolar nature, some mental illness. I'm not saying nobody has a right to have a mental illness. Everybody at some point of time might have some level of mental illness, but we don't know the facts of the case. So how did you arrive at a suicide theory was the only reason that got me interested in understanding that why so many powerful sectors in Maharashtra and Mumbai chose to accept this theory. That is when it smelt of a cover-up. And that is the only reason I decided to look at it very differently. I'm not necessarily saying what the media, in terms of the prominent media, Republic or Times Now, right now are covering, whether it's right or wrong, that's their nature of journalism. So I'm not going to comment on that. It is because of them that the truth is being kept alive. Otherwise, it would have been buried long back. So certain amount of noise, certain amounts of nuisance value is required. But in all that nuisance value, in all that noise, the truth is what is most important. And the truth of the matter is that the Mumbai police did not see Sushant Singh Rajput hanging. And if they did not see Sushant Singh Rajput hanging, then the theory of suicide is based on what you've heard and not what you've seen. So they entered a room where the scene of the crime could or would have been tampered with. So there is no such clear evidence of the fact that he committed suicide. And that's the reason. And that's the only reason I keep saying. Why did the Mumbai police arrive at that conclusion? And therein lies the entire theory behind it, the entire questioning behind it. Because the Mumbai police had to do that with such a powerful Bollywood star, then somebody powerful than that Bollywood star, which could be the industry, which could be political, would have to have informed or got the Mumbai police to take this path of thinking. Otherwise, the Mumbai police is not a stupid police force. They are very calibered and professional police force. But somebody at the highest level had an ability to press the right buttons to get them to act in this way and completely not do anything. They did not even file an FIR. I mean, why would you not even file an FIR on an investigation unless you didn't think it was important? So to me, I think something has happened to Sushant Singh Rajput. I believe he would have been murdered. The reasons and the motive of his murder is what will come out from either the CBI or the NCB or the ED. Now that the central agencies are looking at it. It has to come out from any of the three because it was not coming out from the Mumbai police.
See, मैं श्रोताओं को एक बात बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट बात बताना चाहता हूँ कि जब भी आपने प्राइम टाइम डिबेट्स देखे होंगे, स्पेशली टाइम्स नाउ के और रिपब्लिक के, दोनों इंग्लिश हिंदी के, ये तीन चैनल पुट टुगेदर, तो काफी सारे लोगों के दिमाग में एक इमेज आ रही थी कि संदीप सिंह जो है यही जो है की बंदा है, इसी ने सब जो उस दिन सुसाइड हुआ या मर्डर हुआ उससे इसका कुछ ना कुछ वास्ता है, और लोग बहक गए थे. एंड सेवियर इज द पर्सन, सेवियो इज द पर्सन जिन्होंने बहुत क्लियरली, बहुत ही संक्षेप में, बहुत ही शॉर्टकट में एक बात बोला था, संदीप सिंह सिर्फ क्राइसिस मैनेजर की हैसियत रखता है और कुछ नहीं है। और दूसरी बात उन्होंने फिर अगले एक हफ्ते के बाद जब ये कुछ डिबेट्स हुई थी उसमें उन्होंने वापस दोहराई और अगेन ही कीप्स रिपीटिंग, और वो बहुत सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, हमारा पूरे देश का फोकस रिया या बेबी पेंगुइन या पुलिस के तरफ से कितने ऑफिसर्स थे या फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में कितने लोग हैं उस पर नहीं होना चाहिए। हमारा फोकस होना चाहिए इंफॉर्मेशन पे। वो इंफॉर्मेशन क्या थी एसएसआर के पास जिससे ये लोग डरे हुए थे?
एग्जैक्टली क्या था वो इंफॉर्मेशन?
वो इंफॉर्मेशन क्या थी जिसमें 8 हार्ड डिस्क लेके गए वो?
एग्जैक्टली
ये जो नजरिया, ये जो सोच है, ये जो आइडेंटिफाइंग बिटवीन द लाइंस जो सेवियो का अप्रोच है, दिस इज व्हाट आई लाइक एंड दिस इज व्हाट ही इज बीन डूइंग इन अ लॉट ऑफ burning issues where he picks up the the minutest thread, maybe which we say in micron size, जो visible eye से नहीं दिखता है, या कई बार ऐसी चीजें होती हैं जो हमको आंख से देखते हैं, कान से सुनते हैं, लेकिन उसके बाहर रहती है, उसके दायरे के बाहर रहती है। तो that is the uniqueness of Savio, and this is one uniqueness which I always remember, and I'm sure once I have already shared this thing with you. Going forward, when you hear Savio, when you follow his writings in Goa Chronicle, you will be finding out what are the key points which Savio is pointing out to different breaking news. This is one compliment I wanted to give you, Savio.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So we'll move to the second big story, which mainstream media is still not interested. And Savio has taken the onus on his shoulders, on his news portal shoulder, Goa Chronicle, to take that thing forward, and that is Loyola College चेन्नई का केस। मैं चाहूंगा ये केस क्यों 4 साल तक हाई कोर्ट में जाने के बाद लटका रहा, अभी भी काफी सारे फॉलोअप कर रहे हैं सेवियो भारत सरकार के एक विशेष मंत्रालय के साथ, यूजीसी के साथ फॉलोअप हो रहा है, लेकिन जवाब कोई देने को तैयार नहीं है।
I can say this quite confidently, Robin, that after 4 years, last week, we did have a hearing finally. After 4 years, the Madras High Court had decided to have the hearing on the Mary Rajshekharan's case. It is interesting to note that the judge asked the respondents, in this case representatives, legal representatives of the Loyola College, that should he pass the order or have they responded to the petition filed by Mary Rajshekharan, to which the lawyer said, yes, we have responded. And then the Chief Justice has put forward the case for the 18th of September. In the petition that they have replied, they have of course and most naturally denied all the charges, which was expected of them. So the next hearing of the case is on September 18th. Now, like I told media that asked me a few questions after the hearing, you see, the Mary Rajshekharan's case is a very simple case. It is a case of sexual harassment at workplace, and that is serious as far as women are concerned, as far as men are concerned, and as far as any employee is concerned. The Supreme Court has ruled in that direction. And the failure of the Loyola College, which is very surprising, because you'd expect an institute to have certain moral or ethical values towards their employees or towards their students. I'm not saying Loyola College is a bad educational institute. That's never been our premise at all. All I'm saying is, here is an employee of your organization that has come forward to you with a harassment issue. The least you could do is understand what that case is and set up an internal complaints committee as it is the UGC guidelines. And when she wanted to take the complaint to the police, they of course refrained using the goodwill of the institute, the goodwill of the institute being tarnished. So these are not acceptable ways of functioning for an institute of repute. You have many students studying there. You have some women studying there as part of the Mediacom communications program over there. How are you going to allow and how are you going to create an area of protection for the people that you're responsible for if you're not willing to take onus of protecting the very employee that has been working for you for over a decade? You know, it's not, when you look at it from that perspective, then you're saying that the employee to Loyola College management, because she is being violated or harassed by a priest, is of no importance, and the priest, the Catholic priest, is more important. So in effect, the Catholic priest can do anything to any of the people in that institute, employee or student, and they will get away with it. And that cannot be acceptable in any form in this country, because, after all, the Indian laws are far more superior than the Vatican laws or the Jesuit laws. So the Loyola College needs to understand the importance of it. Unfortunately, they haven't, so the matter is in court. The court is seized of the matter. It's up to them to take the right path as far as this case is concerned.
Okay, we'll move over to the last question and a very important topic, which I have a strong gut feeling not too many people in India would be aware of it. ये एक MOU है जो गांधी परिवार ने CPC ILD जब भी ये अपने दौरे पे गए थे ओलंपिक्स के टाइम पे, तभी उन्होंने साइन किया था. राहुल गांधी उसमें सिग्नेटरी है, सोनिया गांधी साथ में थी, उनके और काफी लॉयलिस्ट लाइक आनंद शर्मा साथ में थे. अभी एक मुद्दा सामने आया है, वो अगेन जो मैंने पहले जिक्र किया था अभी 5-7 मिनट पहले, बारीकी. ये किसी को इस बारे में कुछ भी जानकारी नहीं थी. Nobody was aware of it. Savio is the person who identified that there is a MOU between Gandhi family, the Congress and CPC ILD, China. और उसके अंदर उन्होंने कुछ म्यूचुअली एग्रीड क्लॉजेस, कुछ टर्म्स कंडीशन कुछ उन्होंने एग्री करे. क्या है वो हमारे को नहीं मालूम है, देश को नहीं मालूम है. अभी अगर आप 2 टर्म्स देखते हैं कांग्रेस के और अभी का जो टर्म देखते हैं, पिछले 6 साल का फर्स्ट टेन्योर मोदी जी का और अभी जो भी समय निकल गया है, आपको कुछ ना कुछ चेंजेस नजर आएंगे भारत और चाइना के रिश्ते के बारे में. कल की ही बात है, कल लेट इवनिंग हमारे इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड टाइम के हिसाब से उनको एक ग्लोबल टाइम्स करके एक माउथपीस है चाइना, उन्होंने काफी तारीफ करी है कांग्रेस परिवार की और उन्होंने को एक फेथ जताया है कि बीजेपी को कॉर्नर करने में ये लोग ही सक्षम है. तो ऐसा क्यों है कि ग्लोबल टाइम्स को कांग्रेस पे, गांधी परिवार पे इतना भरोसा है? तो इसको लेकर जो है, ये MOU को लेकर सेवियो ने एक PIL फाइल करी है और वो जब से PIL फाइल हुई है कुछ एक्शन होना शुरू हुआ है. लेकिन कांग्रेस परिवार ने जो है, गांधी परिवार ने या कांग्रेस ने अभी तक उसके बारे में कुछ भी खुलासा नहीं किया. दे आर नॉट विलिंग टू ओपन अप द कंटेंट ऑफ दिस MOU. सेवी, ओवर टू यू.
थैंक यू रॉबिन. इट्स वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट. हमें ये जानना जरूरी है कि वो MOU के कंटेंट्स क्या है. व्हाट आर द डिटेल्स ऑफ द MOU. ये जो MOU कांग्रेस ने 2008 पे साइन किया था, अगस्त 7 पे, एक कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी चाइना ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ किया था. वो कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी चाइना का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इंटरनेशनल लाइजॉन डिपार्टमेंट का उसका नाम है. ये इंटरनेशनल लाइजॉन डिपार्टमेंट क्या है? ये इंटरनेशनल लाइजॉन डिपार्टमेंट इज नथिंग बट अ फॉरेन कोवर्ट इंटेलिजेंस आर्म of the government of China. The International Liaison Department was a part of the PLA, that's the Liberation Army of China, the People's Liberation Army. And then, of course, they've got into to merge it with the Communist Party of China. So they're really a combination of military intelligence and foreign intelligence units that work with different countries in different countries around the world, with our young politicians, with corporates, with media, to control the narrative in favor of China in these international destinations. So when Congress signed the deal with them. The deal actually it got fructified on August 7, 2008, but the real discussions started way back in 2005, 2006. And it then got cemented in 2007 when Mrs. Gandhi met with the then president of China. And the vice president that time was the current president, that's Xi Jinping, right? So they decided to have this agreement, this MOU that would focus on trade, that would focus on infrastructure, that would focus on the youth, and various facets of it, which Mrs. Gandhi spoke about in an interview that she gave to the Xinjiao News Agency in 2011. But she's not spoken about it openly to any media as far as India is concerned. Now, when we did an investigation into ILD, I have put out a CIA report. I have put out a Czech Republic report. I have put out a Stratfor Global report, which was leaked out in WikiLeaks. I put out the US Senate Commission on trade and security, on the fear they have as ILD being a foreign covert intelligence agency of China. So in effect, Congress, which was the party in government at that point of time, signed a party-to-party deal with ILD of the Communist Party of China. How many political parties are there in China? One, which is the Communist Party of China. Which department of the Communist Party of China did they sign? They signed it with the International Liaison Department of China. Who is the International Liaison Department of China? It is the Foreign Covert Intelligence Agency. So in effect, Congress, which is the ruling party at that time, which was the lead alliance party as far as UPA was concerned, at that point of time, signed with the covert agency of China. I'm not able to understand why is nobody in the country even bothered on the importance of something like this. You see, if you map, you must understand, I said 2005 to 2006 is when this discussion started, right? Till it was fructified in 2008 on August 7th. What was the trade deficit with China at that point of time in 2005, 2006? The trade deficit was 1.5 billion US dollars. Do you know what the trade deficit with China is today? It's $46.8 billion. What does that mean in effect? इसका मतलब क्या होता है कि हम चाइना से इंडिया के जो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं वो कम बेचते हैं और हम चाइना से ज्यादा खरीद लेते हैं. So every MSME industry that had the potential to grow from 2008 to 2014, which was a time when Congress was in power as the lead party in the UPA alliance, they allowed for China to infiltrate the MSME sector of India. And in the MSME sector lost close to 10 years of valuable time on commodities and products that could be developed in India. So today really what you have in effect, and it's going to be very difficult, not impossible, but difficult to eradicate the spread of Chinese-based products as far as India is concerned. And these products could be done by us in those 10 years. So in effect, what they did was completely cripple the MSME sector in India. Now, why did they do that? That only Congress can answer. And I'm saying if there was nothing to hide in that document, then what is stopping Congress from making it public? Tell the people what was a part of that MOU. How many skirmishes have happened across the border? If you go from 2008 right up to 2014, when they were in government, over 600 infiltrations into India were from China, along the India-China border. Now, does that come with the kind of friendship that you have exchanged with them? Now, China does these kind of agreements with almost many countries using the ILD. And in every country they have gone using the ILD, there is an influence that China has in that country. That is why today, when the world is facing COVID, the person who's responsible for the situation and could have curtailed and could have saved the world from COVID was Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, and who ensured that he became the Director General of the WHO is China. And which nation in Africa does China have a tie-up with? It's the same nation that Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus comes from, which is Ethiopia. The communist government in Ethiopia and the communist government of China had an agreement. That is why they backed him. So you're playing with a country that is actually a rogue nation. And Congress has signed this deal with the rogue nation in their foreign agency, their foreign covert intelligence agency. That is how serious it is, Robert. And I'm shocked that for the BJP, it is only about brownie points. It is only about screaming on television channels, arrest Sonia Gandhi, apologize. But have they done anything? Have they even understood the implication?
See, ideally, apart from what we do in journalism, one basic thought that I have in mind as a layman, as a citizen, like either they should make this MOU public. There's nothing to hide. Make it public.
That's what I thought.
Because there is a trail behind what they have done, and whatever they have done, things are very suspicious. There was a time when few years back, दोनों भाई बहन जो है, they went and met a couple of Chinese officers in the embassy. They denied, and then when they were cornered, they accepted. Okay.
Yes.
Now, one serious issue which I have with all the political parties, ones who don't show loyalty towards the nation, like PDP or any other political party in JNK. Okay, they have their more loyalty towards enemy nation. Here, Congress is not willing to show the MOU. So, Election Commission should come out and say, because this is your notice period, you please make your intentions clear, because they are part of the law-making body. They are sitting in Parliament, and knowingly, we can't have tariq pe tariq on something which is very sensitive.
No, but you see, I'll tell you something, Robin. Before the Election Commission, okay, and even there is no need for us to go to court. We have to go to court because, as a citizen and as a journalist, I just want to know what's in that document. That's my only premise.
Right.
I'm not insinuating. The mere fact that you're not making the document public is making me arrive at an insinuating thought of mine. If the document is clear and the contents of the document is made clear, why would anybody want to even speculate on what it is? Right? Because you have not made it clear, we will insinuate. And I don't need to go beyond. She made a statement to Xinjiang, which broadly discussed the parameters of that document, which was trade, infrastructure, investments, economics, youth, how to work together with them. Now, if Sonia Gandhi at that point of time was the UPA chairperson, why did you need to do a party-to-party deal? You could have easily done a nation-to-nation understanding, a bilateral agreement with China, but you didn't do that.
That is the way it is done.
So you wanted primarily that your relationship with China must continue irrespective of the nation's interest. That is why Congress, over a period of time on issues relating to China, are always taking the side of China than the side of the Indian government. Even Global Times is saying that the Chinese government's own mouthpiece is saying the same thing. So what is it that they have done? What did they take? So we know Sonia Gandhi has taken money from KGB. That has come out in the documents. We have written about it as well. Right? Russian intelligence itself, a former Russian intelligence operative, actually made those claims in a book. The point is, there is a history with this family taking money. There is no doubt in my mind there is something untoward that's happened with China. Otherwise, they could have killed this entire issue by making that document public.
That's true.
But they haven't. So it means there's something in it.
Definitely, because the broad salient point which they have shared, those economics, development, exchange of cultural ties and all. Now, who is the beneficiary? I can understand, 19-20 कुछ minor upper hand Congress, China having or India having from time to time, but the gap, the trade
It's huge.
deficit, that is huge, and it kept on increasing. So much so that today, I was speaking to one senior general manager of one of the pharma companies. He said, "Boss, even though the government is supporting for the APIs and so many other things in pharma industry, it will take time."
Correct.
They're happy with whatever is happening, but the issue is, as of today, most of the industries, they are handicapped. It's like the hands are tied and they are asked to perform. And now we have an issue with China. It's a blessing in disguise. Things are happening, but those 10 years were crucial.
Correct. So we have to understand where these guys are coming from, and I think before going to the High Court, which we will be next week, is we thought we'd approach the NIA with a petition to say these are the evidences which we did in our articles and more. That this is what is good, what could have been transpired. This is what ILD is really about. We were told that they're going to seriously look at it, and they will take a call on some decision. But you cannot you cannot allow them to go scot-free. You see, we don't care about the political brownie points that BJP wants to score with the Gandhi families. That is their personal problem. That is their political issue. But the nation cannot be sacrificed on political issues. BJP needs to get that very clear. Otherwise, BJP will be in the same spot as Congress is today.
See, one point I like to, I want you to elaborate more is there are dozens of such cases which a lot of active citizens like you, they have taken from time to time, be it in the form of a PIL or some other memorandum or awareness drive. When the result starts coming, that is the later stage. The moment the first two small tiny leaves come out of that seed, BJP jumps to take the credit. So this is exactly what has happened in this particular case.
Correct.
Now, the first thing they have said is Congress should apologize. This is not a matter where a party should be asked or requested to apologize. This is a serious issue.
They didn't ask Congress to apologize. They asked Sonia Gandhi to apologize. And so, they think Sonia Gandhi is going to apologize.
Like she is being the chairman. So
it's not that, Robin. They don't understand. Sonia Gandhi doesn't think too very highly of them. To her, in Sonia Gandhi's mind, I'm here and JP Nadda is somewhere right down behind. I'm Sonia Gandhi. I'm the Queen of India. I'm a Gandhi. You are only a Nadda. So Nadda, according to Sonia Gandhi, must be in his adda and keep his mouth closed, according to Mrs. Gandhi's mindset.
See, the thing is, some people and some corporates, some associations, some bodies, they have golden past and golden future. Some have golden past and no future. Some have no past and no future. They belong to the last and the third category. And BJP wants these people to apologize. So, what is the impression BJP is leaving in front of the nation? When nation says, boss, we have given you 303 seats and in the next election we are going to support you with more seats. And if these kind of statements come in public, what is the morale of the people who keep supporting BJP day in, day out?
Well, you can ask me. I'm somebody who doesn't support the BJP at all.
No, I know.
I do support Narendra Modi. I think as far as certain policies are concerned, certain international relationships are concerned, I think he's doing a phenomenal job as far as those issues are concerned. As far as dealing with certain elements in the country, like the Gandhis, for example, and in particular Sonia Gandhi and Rahul and Priyanka, I think we need to get beyond the politics of sympathetic politic syndrome, which they claim all the time. Nobody in India cares about the Gandhis. They don't. And they shouldn't. Because they haven't contributed anything to the country. If at all, they've destroyed the future of this country. So, you might have a certain amount of slaves that continue to look at Mrs. Gandhi and the rest of the communists with, teardrops in their eyes. But for majority of the Indians, they really don't give a damn if they go to jail or not. So BJP must stop flogging a dead horse, which the Gandhis are. Otherwise, the horse can metamorphosize itself into a snake, and Mrs. Gandhi is a snake. You know, when I mean she's a snake, I mean to say, in description, she's very venomous. Okay, so you're telling the country that, hey, listen, this is a snake, but we've removed the venom out of the snake. But the fear out of the snake continues, whether the snake has venom or not.
That's true.
Okay, you look at it from a village perspective, and a snake comes in. Everybody will run helter-skelter. They will not care whether the snake is venomous or not. So you continue to keep the fear of the snake when you do nothing. Today, when I've been talking to certain members of the BJP, they've been saying, the bureaucrats are a problem. Mrs. Gandhi will get sympathetic wave. I said, by you talking about it, she's not really, getting a negative wave. She's actually getting sympathetic wave by you talking and doing nothing. Why don't you do something about it? So I don't think BJP has the gumption in them to touch Mrs. Gandhi. Let me say that very clear. There are better words for it, but I can't use that word on a public forum. I don't think they can do anything to Mrs. Gandhi. If they can, let's see what they can do. The MOU is a classic act of treason. Treason. Treason in no country is ever taken lightly. But you know what? BJP will mess this up as well. They need Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi as the horse that they want to flog and say, look, this is the Gandhis, the snake is there, the snake is there, the snake is there. Please be afraid of the snake. What they're not realizing is that the fear of the snake in organizations that need to act continue. That the fear of the snake will turn into support for the snake at some point of time. This snake isn't going anywhere so easily. It's not going.
Right, Sergio. Thanks so much for sparing time for our audience.
Always a pleasure.
And we'll be back soon with one more guest for Straightforward. And I have no names in mind. The hunt is on, and I'm open for some deserving names. Thank you once again, Savio.
My pleasure.
And all the best for all the legal cases that you are pursuing, be it for Loyola College Chennai, be it for ILD, CPC, Congress MOU, and all the active participation in SSR debate with your vigilant approach, the kind of things you come out with, like crisis manager for Sandeep Singh, and information is the key in this case, not the drugs or any other thing. Thank you so much once again.
Most welcome. Thank you.